welcome back to Bunker Gaming. This is Matt. So we all enjoy investing time into the games that we love. For me at present, that game is Destiny. Taking its roots from a little bit of FPS with a dash of MMO, and you have Destiny. The universe behind Destiny is one that is expanding and the story is ever progressing. It combines a single player component in it, which can be played alone or with friends. Alongside this, there's also the 3 people strikes, which match you up with other players and require you to work together to complete an objective. Then we have the raids. These are 6 people teams. These have to be organised groups. The people within this team have to be actively communicating and have to work together to defeat enemies and to complete the objectives for the various stages of the raids. So these are all the parts of the player versus environment part of the game. But Destiny doesn't end here. There's also the other side of it. And this is the PvP side of Destiny, aka the Crucible. This side can be played independent of player versus environment, or PvE, or in conjunction. It allows the game to stay fresh because it can vary up how much time you invest in different parts of the game. So, at present, the PvP side of the game is not in good shape. Anybody who plays Destiny is aware of the massive weapon imbalance within PvP. This means that a handful of weapons are dominating all others within the game itself. Also, added to this that the player versus player side of the game is plagued with connection issues. This turns matches into an extremely laggy experience. So this problem arises for players who only want to solely focus on the PvE side of things. They can't do that. To get certain weapons or armor requires people to buy from various vendors that require Crucible marks, which is the currency that is required, which can only be obtained through the PvP side of the game. Also, many of the exotic bounties which lead to the exotic weapons require time invested in PvP to complete them. So as you can see, the PvP side of things is deeply entrenched in as part of the game. Also, once a month, Destiny has this regular event called Iron Banner. During regular Crucible, when Iron Banner is not on, all armor and weapon are equalized to give everybody a level playing field. But during Iron Banner, the more powerful your weapons and armor are, the bigger advantage you have. So it also has a scaled reward system so that the more you play, the better reward you get. And this leads to allowing players to get more powerful armor, weapons and items. Unfortunately, during this time, it becomes more prevalent and more obvious of these issues. It can be seen with players that warp and teleport around the map. Other times, players, you will inflict damage on them, and damage can take extremely long times, even after you're dead, to register. And worst of all, at times, players can be completely invincible, where you're just continuously shooting them and doing no damage whatsoever. And this creates this uncertainty within the game. And when facing another player, not knowing whether you're going to come out on top or the game will give them some sort of advantage and such. Worst of all, it removes this skill gap that the players who spend time building it up have. And it can give players or inexperienced players a false sense of security or advantages they probably don't deserve. Ultimately, I do not know if this is due to the skill-based matchmaking within the game, but you have to understand that this is great for larger communities with skill-based matchmaking, but for a smaller community like here in Australia, skill-based matchmaking can be actually more of a hindrance than it can be helpful. Connection and ping should always be the primary thing that any first-person shooter should consider above all else. In the end, the players have to get a great experience while playing. If they don't, or if they're getting laggy experiences, all it's going to do is frustrate them and drive them away from the game. And I know Bungie is looking at addressing many of these problems as we progress into the Taken King. But my concern is, will it be enough? One thing I definitely like Bungie to consider is a game mode that removes the exotic weapons. Because at present, a lot of the imbalance that we see within the game itself is due to these exotic weapons. So the removal from one of these game modes might make an interesting element to the game, and I'd definitely like to see that. One bit of interesting news was one of the new game modes within the Taken King expansion. And this mode is called Zone Control. It's similar to Domination or Conquest within Call of Duty or Battlefield. But they changed things up a little bit, because the only way a player can score points is to actually cap the objective. Now, if you just go out and become this killing machine, you don't receive a single point, which is a great thing to see, because I think this is fostering this objective gameplay thinking within players. And I don't think we see enough of that within first-person shooters these days. It's more focusing on your kill-death ratio than it is being objective. And I think this is something we have to foster within games these days. So they're my thoughts on Destiny and the PvP side of things. If you definitely have any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear them. As always, thank you very much, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye.